to take a couple of grounding breaths. Allow the body to relax. Tune the mind to the present moment. And you're welcome to stay in this position for as long as you want. Everything I say tonight is just a suggestion. You don't have to do everything. If you're ready for some movement, on your next inhale, we're going to lift up the body, shifting forward into a cobra pose. Make it nice and mild. And when you exhale, shift back into child's pose. And then see if you can find your one breath, one movement. Every time when you breathe in, you're shifting forward into cobra. Every time when you breathe out, you're going back into child's pose. Very good, just like this. 3 more breaths. The next inhale, shifting the hips to the right and forward. When you exhale, shift the hips to the left and back. Basically, you're drawing a big circle with your hips. Breathing in and out from your nose. And when you go forward, move the right ear to the right shoulder. When you go back, move the left ear to your left shoulder. So your entire spine is moving. And you're feeling all the muscles, all the joints. Very good. And then whenever you're ready, shifting to the other direction. Still drawing this big circle, but when you inhale, you're going to the left and forward. When you exhale, you're moving to the right and back. Good. Next exhale, take your time to come back to the center. And then when you inhale, move the right foot outside of your right hand into lizard pose. This is a great hip opener position. You're stretching on the right side, your glutes, your hamstrings. And on the left side, you are stretching the hip flexor muscle groups. And then when you exhale, shift back into a half split. Straight up your right knee and point your right toes up towards the ceiling. And this one is a little deeper stretching to the right side on the hamstrings. And then it's the calf muscles, the muscles on the back of your lower legs. And then the bottom of your right foot, the plantar. And the Achilles tendon is what you're feeling as well. On your next inhale, shifting forward into lizard. When you exhale, shift back. And then find your one breath, one movement flow. Inhale forward. And exhale back. 3 more. Exhale, bring the right foot back, extend the right foot out, tap it to the left, to the right, and then back to the center, tabletop. The same thing to the other side. Left foot outside of your left hand, sinking in the back hip. Take a moment to check your body in this lizard pose. And then when you exhale, shift back into half split. And stay here a little bit. Again, the muscles we're stretching is the hamstrings. There are 3 muscles in the hamstrings. And you're going to learn the insertion, the origin, and the insertion. You're also stretching the calf muscle and the bottom of the foot. On your next inhale, shifting forward into lizard, and then back to half split. On your own pace, forward and back. Every time when you inhale, try to elongate the spine and get all the air in to expand your lungs and expand your belly. And every time when you exhale, soften into the posture. Release any unnecessary tension. Very good. The next exhale, bring the left foot back. Extend it out. Tap it to the right, to the left, and to the center table. Very good. Now tuck your toes under, press the hips back and up into downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward, lifting up the torso halfway. When you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly, happily standing up with your eyes open. When you arrive to the top, inhale, arms reach up. When you exhale, arms beside your body. We'll take 3 breaths here. The breath work we're doing is called Ujjayi Pranayama. Ujjayi means victorious breath. Pranayama is the breath work. Prana is the vital source, the vital energy, and that's the breath. And yama is to regulate. So pranayama, that's the 4th limb of yoga. So Ujjayi Pranayama is done through the nostrils with your mouth closed, the tip of the tongue right behind your 2 front teeth. The jaw is relaxed, and your inhale and exhale from the nostrils only, and creating this ocean whispering sound at the back of the throat. And we'll see if we can inhale for 4 count and then exhale for 4 count and see how that goes. And then we'll move through the 10 postures in Sun Salutation A. So whenever you're ready, inhale, arms reach tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up the torso halfway. Exhale, walk the feet back into table or chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog, and we stay here for 5 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Very good. 2 more on your own. Very good. Anytime it becomes too much, you're welcome to drop down your knees for table or for child's pose. On your next inhale, walk your feet forward. Lift up the torso halfway. When you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, arms reach tall. And then exhale, arms beside your body. And the second round, we're going to work on a little bit of alignment. So whenever you're ready, relax your shoulders back and down. Keep the arms up, keep the elbows straight, palms facing each other, but the shoulders relaxed. And slightly engage your core, slightly tuck the tailbone, micro bend at your knees, and planting down all the four corners of your feet. Good. And when you exhale, forward fold, belly towards your thighs. Your knees can be bent. And then on your next inhale, into a halfway lift. We're gonna stay here for a second. Halfway lift. Think about doing some cat and cow here. And move the shoulders down and back, down and up. And when you come to a cow pose, where you're sticking the tailbone out, and then also bring the shoulders back, almost you're like doing a back bend. That's your halfway lift. Find this sensation, like the entire body is engaged. That's your halfway lift. And when you exhale, belly to your thighs, forward fold. Now walk your feet back into high plank to begin with. Now for chaturanga, it does require a lot of upper body strength. We might have it, yet might not. Option is to drop down your knees and keep your hips in this tailbone tucked position, and then bend your elbows down. Chaturanga, yes. And then inhale, cobra, upper facing dog. Good. Here you have two options. Number one is what I'm doing, a baby cobra. In this position, I'm strengthening more of the upper back, the middle back, the shoulders and arms. Some people push all the way up because you have the flexibility, but then they feel the lower back. There's too much compression at the lower back. So if when you are here, you feel the lower back, you might get more by staying down here. You might not look as fancy, but when you're here, you're strengthening more, and the lower back does not have so much pressure. So that's cobra. And when you exhale, come to a downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, there's so many options. The standard way is where you have your feet at your hip width apart, and slightly having the heels a little bit wider out than the toes. Yes. And then think about the spine. You can do some cat and cow. And in the shoulder area, you are doing a cow pose, almost like a back bend. But the lower back area, you are doing a cat pose. It's like this push and pull. And lastly is the head and neck. The gaze, the jersey of this pose is at your navel. So you should be looking at your belly button. But that's the traditional teaching. And most likely we'll have a shirt that is in the way, and most likely we're not be able to see the navel. So the alternative is to look to your thighs or to your knees in this alignment. And then when it comes to your hands and your wrists, basically you want to press down into all your knuckles. Your index finger is parallel to each other. And so all your fingers are sealed on the ground. So if someone is pulling your fingers up, they should hear this sound. Good. And then on your next inhale, walk the feet forward, halfway lift, that cow back, that flat back. Yes, the back bend, beautiful. And next exhale, forward fold. Next inhale, rise and arms reach up. When you exhale, arms beside your body. Very good. The next round, we're gonna work strictly on the breath, and I'm gonna count each breath into 4. So relax the body. Whenever you're ready, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, forward fold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, halfway lift, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, chaturanga, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, cobra, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, downward facing dog, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, feet forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, arms reach up. Exhale, arms beside your body. Very good. How you feel about doing it on your own? See how it goes, okay? If you forget, just keep flowing. And remember, 5 breaths at downward dog. Whenever you're ready, you can begin. And okay, before you begin, this is for hands-on assist. Usually we give this out in the normal class too. If you leave the card green side facing up, that means you're okay with hands-on assist. If you flip it over at any time, you can. That means no hands-on assist. If it's more complicated than that, you want me to talk to you, then you can stuck it halfway at the yoga mat. So that way I can come to you, hey, what's going on? Oh, I have this shoulder issue that don't touch over here, but other places are good. Okay? All right, whenever you're ready, sensei patient A. And I'll be walking around you with hands-on assist. Yes, how does that feel? Pushing over here on the pelvis. Okay, stay here for 2 more breaths. This is like the most stable part of the body that can assist someone. It's always okay. Finish one round, you can go ahead and start another round. Breathing. Another assist is to pull on the thighs. How does that feel? It's both elongating the spine. When you finish your second round, take your time to find your mountain pose. And then stay in your mountain pose for 2 to 3 breaths. Have your feet at your shoulder width apart and just notice the contact point of the bottom of the feet to the ground. From here we're going to practice Mula Bandha. Bandha means lock, Mula means root. So the Mula Bandha is basically located where the pelvic floor is located. Tomorrow you'll see a picture of the anatomy of the pelvis. So at the bottom of the pelvis, there's that muscle that is kind of a fiber going this way. It's helping us like going to the bathroom or controlling not going to the bathroom, not having gas, that's the same muscle. And it's directly connected to the prefrontal cortex. That's why when we decide not to go, this is not the right time, then that will listen, right? Versus some other parts of our muscle are involuntary. The digestion system, it does not have your conscious control. It just do its thing, right? So this muscle is parallel to our diaphragm, which is the muscle at the bottom of the rib cage. It's very similar fiber direction. So when you inhale, it actually contracts, and it push the fiber down. It makes more space in the lungs, and then the pelvic floor is moving the same direction. So when you think about taking a deep inhale, and then when you exhale, at the beginning, if you can feel it, that's awesome. Most likely, we're gonna use our imagination. So when you inhale, think about this contraction is bringing the bottom of the floor of the rib cage down, making more space, and then the same thing with the pelvic floor. And when you exhale, it's like a lifting, elevator lifting. Good. We'll take 3 more breaths and just try your best to feel it. We're going to go through some standing postures and to work on Mula Bandha. So whenever you're ready, the first one we're coming to is a Warrior One pose. So Warrior One, let's just go ahead and then find the right foot forward, left foot back, and then we're going to slowly pivot into the alignment. So some of the tradition, they think the Warrior One should be heel to heel alignment. So if I draw a straight line that is parallel to the side of my mat, it should be right heel aligned with the left heel. This is good, but it's kind of putting the pelvis in a very hard position to stay forward. So the alternative option is to move this out, and your heel and heel is like a train track alignment. The back foot is about 45 degrees out, so you're on a train track. You have much more stability, and you can have your pelvis, your belly button facing forward. And then the arms are reaching tall. Every time when you reach up, think about your trapezius muscle from the base of your head all the way to your scapula, the spine of the scapula, right over here. This muscle should be relaxed. So when you lift up your arms, we're not lifting up the whole thing, but keeping the shoulders relaxed, keep the arms engaged. The back leg is straight, the front knee is bent. And we stay here for 3 breaths. Try to feel your Mula Bandha as you breathe. Very good. Now when you exhale, release. Shake out the tension. On Sunday afternoon, we'll review this with Jen, and that will be in more detail of the alignment. And then now let's do the other side. So this one is more about feeling the body. When you are finally in this posture, if you choose the heel to heel or the train track alignment, notice what's going on in the body. The back leg is straight, front knee is bent, pelvis is slightly tucked, the core is slightly engaged, shoulders relaxed, arms are engaged, the palms facing each other. Slightly tuck your chin in and feel each Ujjayi pranayama. And feel the impact it makes to the pelvic floor, to the Mula Bandha, root lock. Next exhale, release. Shake out the tension. That's Warrior One pose. Now, how many warriors do we have in yoga?
3.
3, yes. What's the other 2?
Warrior 1, 2.
Yes, Warrior 1, Warrior 2, and Warrior 3. Yes. Let's go to Warrior 2. next one. So the right foot is forward. This one, the alignment is the heel arch alignment. Again, the right knee is bent right over the right heel, left leg is straight. And this time the pelvis is facing to the side. The belly button is facing to the side. Shoulders are right over the pelvis. I'll demonstrate some of the common version people like to do. When they're doing a warrior two, they like to reach forward. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, meaning it's not gonna harm you in any way. But traditionally, it's the head right over the pelvis. And then the shoulders, again, are relaxed, but arms are engaged. The palms facing down. The jersey, the gaze, is the middle finger and the further. Good. And then, very important thing is to look at the front knee. A lot of people have the knee bending inward. Again, nothing wrong with it. It's not going to be harmful. But when you have the knee over the heel, it just looks better. And then you also have the actual benefit of stretching the inner thigh. And then start to feel your Mula Bandha in this posture. Excellent. On your next inhale, step back, shake out the tension. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And this side, I'll start to give some hands-on assist. Have the front knee pointing straight forward, and then the knee is pointing the same direction of your middle toe. So the difference between hands-on assist and hands-on adjust is hands-on adjust, they want to push you deeper into the stretching. And the next exhale, release. And the hands-on assist is just providing comfort and helping the person to ground down more, help the person to relax more into the posture. Hands-on assist, hands-on adjust, when you're twisting, they're going to make you twist further. When you're stretching, they're going to push you down to make you stretching further. And that's for a long time is how yoga is taught. And when I was going through the training, we're doing mostly hands-on assist. There were some hands-on adjust. And for our training, we're only going to do hands-on assist because it's safe, it is very helpful, and it's not going to create any harm because you don't know what's going on in their body. They might have osteoporosis, that the bone is very weak. They might have some curvature already in the spine, scoliosis and stuff. You don't want to make it worse because you don't know. Okay. So the next one is Warrior 3. Warrior 3 is a balancing pose. It's one of the most challenging poses in yoga because it requires a lot of focus. So usually when I come into this pose, I like to use 2 blocks. And I have the blocks right over the shoulders so you can find a good alignment to come in. We'll begin with the right foot on the ground and left foot back. So while you are here, try to feel the pelvis. So you can level the pelvis by drawing down the left hip. Good. And then keep your left knee straight, left heel kicking straight back, and then the toes pointing down. Elongating the spine. And slightly tuck your chin in. That's it. And then here, feel your Mula Bandha. Slightly tuck that tailbone, the core engagement. Pushing the chest away from the mat. And now for the last 2 breaths, you can release your hands off of the block and still maintaining the posture without straining anything. Yes, good breathing. Soften the jaw, soften the face. And then the next exhale, release. Good job. Shake out the tension. And whenever you're ready, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana. In this training, we're also going to learn Sanskrit, kind of a beginner level where you can read it correctly. So for Virabhadrasana, it's a combination of Virya and Bhadra. Virya is someone with a lot of courage. Vajra is someone really, really kind. So every time when you're doing a warrior pose, you're just honoring those people who are brave and kind. And the next exhale, release. That's warrior 1, 2, and 3. And we're gonna do that one more time. And this time I'm gonna give more hands-on assist into each pose. This is just for you to experience. And eventually, you're gonna give it to others. And then also kind of pay attention of the verbal cue and think about if this is you teaching, if you are demonstrating this pose in the front of the class, what should you be saying? Right? You are holding this pose for 5 breaths. What should you say? I think it more like applying the method. And then, here comes the fun part. Before we leave tonight, you are gonna teach one yoga pose to our entire circle. It can be the pose that we just did, downward facing dog or warrior 1 or whatever. It can be the pose that you just know, that you always like. So it doesn't matter. And very low pressure one, okay? Whenever you're ready, warrior 1 pose. Virabhadrasana. We'll begin with the right foot forward, just for the sake of the unity. Good. And relax your jaw, relax your face. 5 breaths here. Your 5 breaths, you can slowly come out of the pose and do the same thing on the other side. Time to shake out the tension. Okay, how did warrior 1 feel for you? Okay. Any questions, any thoughts? Okay. And let's go to warrior 2 pose. The right foot forward first. Remember my teacher at Asheville Yoga Center, not Michael Johnson, the studio owner back then. She was like, she likes to give people massage on the shoulders, the easiest muscles. And one day she find out one person, she just feel the knot on his shoulder, so she was massaging. And later find out there's a cancer there. And then that person died afterwards. It was so funny when she was sharing that. But the point is, they were best friends. The member come there all the time, and she's always giving everyone hands-on assist like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a story. It stuck with me. And whenever you're ready, we'll do the same thing on the other side. But that's the thing about hands-on assist. It's about like giving all your good intention. When you feel people, I'm giving my good energy, my good intention, and that's very powerful. And instead of thinking, oh, I'm gonna fix this person, when you have that mindset, it can be really hard for the person or for you. And then when you put the finger on the top of the head, it kind of a little reminder for them to be more straighter. both sides yet? Okay, and now warrior 3. Now when you're assisting someone for a balancing pose, try not to worry about too much of the alignment first. Think about their balancing. So usually when I come to you, I'll like kind of standing, my hip will touching your hip, so you know you're safe, you're stable. And then I can work on the balancing. Sometimes you see people, they can barely stand there, like they're everywhere. And then when you start to touch them, they're gonna fall. So stay there, you become a wall for them, and then you can help with the alignment. And whenever you're ready, the right foot first. Release. Find your same thing on the other side. Fine-tuning every single muscle, every single joint, and every single breath. Go back to the flow, sensei patient A, and I'm going to show you the hands-on assist for sensei patient A. Can I get a volunteer? I'll give hands-on assist to Sydney when she's doing sensei patient A. So we'll go to the front of the mat, have the feet at the hip width apart. Okay, good. And then gazing forward, slightly tuck your tailbone. Are just watching. So when people in the mountain pose, I can always do the shoulder. Any standing posture, I can always grounding down the shoulders. How does that feel? Good. Okay. And then this is basically very simple. When you don't know the person, you don't know what's going on in their body, you just apply a little weight down. It feels really good. If you know the person, if you think they're fairly healthy, you can add a little massage to the trapezius muscle. Just a little squeeze, very gentle. And then a little dot on the top, that's one option. In this case, she has jewelry, so this can be a little hard. Like you can lift a little bit, and that's kind of their energy going upward. And then another thing is the pelvis. So you're pushing down the pelvis. Good, how does that feel? Good, okay. And then the last one for grounding is to push on the feet. From here, inhale, bring your arms up. Gonna stay here a little bit. You help her relax the shoulders and external rotate the arms. Good. And when you exhale, forward fold. One hand at the pelvis. This is the most stable part of the body. You can always press on that. The other hand is brushing down. Okay. And then inhale, lift up the torso halfway, helping her bring the shoulders back. You can keep the elbow on top. And then when you exhale, chaturanga. So I usually hold the hips to remind them to bring the hips down the last. So it's more strengthening of the arms. And then cobra inhale, good. And when you exhale, downward facing dog. For downward facing dog, you can go this side. I did this one on Mary Kate. She said it feels really good. You find the pelvis. You're pushing the pelvis. How does that feel? Okay. So I'm really applying my whole body posture and my whole body weight. I can do a high plank here. And it feels really good for stretching, right? And so from here you can walk your hands down, through the shoulders, widen the shoulders. External rotate the upper arms and pushing down through the hands and the fingers. And you can also add a little movement here to help her relax the head and neck. A lot of people holding a lot of tension here. That's one option. The other option is go to the back. Instead of pulling on the hips, which can be really tickling to someone, and it might not really like achieve the benefit. You're pushing down into the thighs and pulling it back. Keep your hands where they are. You see people like to move their hands just because your energy is going backwards. So putting their hands where they are, you can really feel the elongating of the spine. And then the next exhale, release, walk your feet forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Another option is put your elbow here. And then inhale, rise, arms reach tall. Exhale, arms beside your body. Okay, any questions about the hands-on assist? Okay, we're gonna do, how do you feel?
Good.
Any feedback, questions?
No,
Concerns?
no,
Okay.
that's all.
Now I'm gonna do the same thing to you and to you and to you. You want to do it?
Sure.
Okay.
And that way they can all see at the same time?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Whenever you're ready, we're gonna do it one more round, and I'm gonna work on the.
So we're all doing it at the same time, or they're all watching?
We're watching.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I see. Okay, because Sydney never see it how it's done.
You want to just do it on me?
Ah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
okay.
it was happening, I was like, oh, I should just get my way over.
Okay.
We were already in it, so, okay.
Okay, we're gonna do it one more time.
Okay.
Okay, whenever you're ready, inhale, arms reach tall. Upper arms, shoulders, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, walk your feet back, table or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upper facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So notice I'm squatting down and pulling back. I can really apply a lot of pressure here. How does that feel, Kristen?
Good.
Okay. And then the other option is to go over here. Warrior one sense. And pushing on the pelvis. How's that?
Good.
Okay. And then I can apply more pressure. If this feels stable, if she feels stable, I can go to a plank. I can go to a three-leg plank. I can stretch some.
Handstand.
Yeah. And then relax the shoulders. External rotate the upper arms. Internal rotate the forearms. Pressing down. Oh my gosh, you're hot. Next inhale, walk your feet forward, halfway lift. And then exhale, forward fold. Another option is to apply the forearms here. Inhale, rise, arms reach tall. Exhale, arms beside your body. Mountain pose. Gently lifting here. And then lastly, you can put your hands on her feet. Okay, that's Sensation Day. Alright, and now we're all gonna do it one more time. If you're tired, you don't have to do it, but I'm gonna apply it to both of you. Okay? Whenever you're ready, that's how I'll do it. Inhale, arms reach tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga or tabletop. Inhale, cobra, upper facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. front of your mat, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga or table. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. How's that feel? Next inhale, feet forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, arms reach tall. Exhale, arms beside your body, mountain. Yay. How's that? Okay. Now we're gonna go down. Okay, we're not gonna do more standing posture. Kristen, are you feeling okay? I feel like you're really, really hot.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't feel hot in here. I don't feel hot. I just think I've put off a lot of energy.
Okay. There's energy, okay.
Hands are really red. Feel fine.
Okay, alright. So usually when I design a yoga class, I make sure the spine move all directions it can. How many directions can the spine move?
6.
Good. I heard 7. Okay.
I heard 6.
Okay, so you have this forward fold, we call it flexion. You have back bend, we call it extension. You have a go to the left, go to the right bend, we call it lateral flexion. That's an anatomical term. And then you have rotation, right? To the left, to the right, twist. And then the last one is extension. So between the spine, so the vertebra, in between there's a disc. And inside is water or watery-like synovial fluid. So it has space. So you can make it longer, you can make it shorter. Yeah, not that much, but you get the idea. So every time when you're doing an inversion, like handstand, CrossFit, today they have a handstand walk or whatever. Every time I go to CrossFit, I always pretend that nobody know me. I'm not a yoga person because I don't want to give yoga people a bad name. Oh, that yogi, that's the weakest one. Anyway, so like every time you do an inversion, your spine is elongated, right? You're creating space. So that's the 7th direction. So when you think about you design a class, okay, maybe the last 10 minutes of the class, did I move the spine to all directions? If you think about what we just did, no, we move forward fold, we move back bend of the halfway lift, but there's no twist. There's also no side bend. So then at the end of the class, you walk out, you just feel like it's not that open and fluidity. And what's wrong? Oh, and that's the spine. And then you know, if you can do all the spinal movement, you walk out of the class, it doesn't matter what kind of sequence you just did, you just feel more open. And you can feel that. That's super cool. Okay, side bend. Very simple one would be another version of triangle pose, Trikonasana. So you can begin with the feet shoulder width apart, and then bring the arms over the head. Use the right hand to pull your left wrist towards the right. That's it. If you want a little more side bending, bring the feet together. And feel the opening on the left side of the body. And try to feel your Mula Bandha, the root lock. Feel the inhale, you're expanding your lungs, stretching the muscles in between the ribs. Those are intercostal muscles. And then on your next exhale, release. Same thing to the other side. Mula Bandha. Trikonasana. Now this pose has many options. You can use a block as a modification so you can find a better alignment and less straining, less hard. You can also place this hand all the way to the ground. And the other option is to use the index finger, the middle finger, and the thumb to grab your big toe. That would be the Ashtanga Vinyasa tradition. You're pulling the big toe away from the other toes. Elongating the spine. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. Next inhale, come back up to the center. When you exhale, turn your right toe in and then the left toe out to the outside of the circle. Trikonasana, triangle. Find your good breathing. Feel your Mula Bandha in this posture. And the next inhale, slowly come back to the center. And when you exhale, step to the front of the mat. That's Trikonasana. It's a lot of hamstring stretch. And now we're doing revolve triangle, Uparita Trikonasana. So this one, Trikonasana, is basically heel to arch alignment. That's your warrior two stance, right? Now the revolve triangle, best to be done with warrior one stance. And then the left hand is on the ground, the right hand is up. Here comes the twist. Try to feel your right hip back, left hip forward. Relax into it. And next exhale, bend your front knee, slowly come back to the center, star pose. And then face out of the circle, revolve triangle, Parivarta Trikonasana. Next inhale, slowly come back to the center. And then exhale, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, arms reached up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, walk your feet back into table. And now send your legs forward. We're sitting back into Dandasana, a stack pose. Shake out. The first pose is Baddhakasana, butterfly pose. We're gonna bring the soles of the feet together, open them up like a book, and the knees apart. And then pull the fleshy part of the glutes out of the way. Inhale, spine nice and long. Exhale, slightly leaning forward. And then feel the Mula Bandha, the area at the bottom of your pelvis. Through the stretching and through each breath. Come back to the center. When you exhale, scoop the legs forward, lay on your back. Hug your knees in, gentle rock side to side. At this moment, you're welcome to do any other pose we have not covered yet. Otherwise, it's time for your final Shavasana pose, the corpse pose. You're welcome to simply straight up your legs, have your toes falling apart, arms reach out, palms facing up, and allow the body to take space. If you have a bolster beside you, you can put your bolster underneath your knees. If you don't have a bolster and you would like to have one, you can bend your knees and I'll grab a bolster and place it underneath your knees. And let me know if you like some other props. I will be giving some hands-on assist for your Shavasana. And tomorrow when you hear Michael, he will always say that if you're teaching a 1 hour class, the best to have Shavasana 10 to 12 minutes. If you're teaching a 1 hour 30 minutes class, the best to have Shavasana to be 15 minutes or at least 12 minutes. But what about if you teach a 30 minutes yoga class? The answer is 10 to 12 minutes. Shavasana is very important. It is the time for integration, for deep rest. And some people find Shavasana being really relaxing. So relaxing that they might take a nap. And knowing that's completely normal. And some people might find Shavasana being really hard, meaning it's hard for them to relax. There are a lot of tools as a yoga teacher you can do to help them relax. You can do a guided relaxation